Okay, hi. Let me carry on talking about strict equality. Um, okay, I should mention. I mentioned in the last video that I have a blog. I should say, yeah. Basically, there's an article in that blog that is pretty much what I'm saying here. Though I did write it about a year ago, so I've changed a little bit my thoughts. Especially these definitions of the three quantities that I've been talking about, power, status and comfort. I've slightly changed the definitions of them, so but I'll try and get the new definitions written down on this, maybe on the channel description here, and hopefully on my blog as well. Okay, so I was going to talk about enforcement of of equalizing these three quantities. Okay, the main institution I suggest for equalizing these quantities are called equality courts. The basic idea is for any one of these three quantities, a person who thinks they've got less than another person can basically take them to court to get transferred the excess amount, or to make the two equal. So, for example, if I think some bloke I know at work is more powerful than I am, I can take him to court and get that equalized. Their powers, to the extent that it's feasible, it will be transferred to me. So that's the rough idea. A group could take another group of people to the equality courts as well. Might make things simpler in some cases. So that's basically the main mechanism. Now, in those courts, they have a jury, as juries normally are. They pick randomly from citizens, and the jury would be forced to swear an oath that they will follow the kind of ethos of the court. So we don't want them sort of getting in there and saying, oh well, I think that person should have a bit more power than that other person. So that's not within their brief, so they could be dismissed for expressing that sort of opinion. Another subtlety of this is that I believe the court should decide on balance of evidence, not on some sort of reasonable doubt thing or favouring either party. The person who's accusing, if it turns out there's just no evidence either way, like basically one person says to the other that the other is like being far more having far more comfort than they do. If it really can't be proved either way, then the court should pick a sort of halfway point, so some sort of transfer of comfort should take place. For example, a person would get some possession of the other person's that brings comfort, like a pillow or something. More seriously, I don't know, something desirable, like a car or something. This balance of evidence idea is in order to that we all keep kind of proof of what we're up to, because otherwise it's just going to be very difficult to find evidence against people, because typically, like, how do we know, how do you prove what are you doing comfort wise? Did you have the afternoon off or whatever? I mean, this balance of evidence thing really puts the onus on each of us to keep proof of what we're doing in terms of the three quantities. Okay, right. Another last point in the general summary of the system, strict equality, is that it should be abolishable by constitution. Basically, the area that region that is living under strict equality should be able to, by majority vote, popular referendum, get rid of the whole substruct equality. I mean, I'm not saying there should be. Basically, there's got to be freedom to reject the whole system. So that's the last point in the summary of actually what the system is. Now I'm going to address three sort of obvious questions I think people might have, questions stroke criticisms, and I'll start doing that in this video, and I'll probably go on to the next video. Okay, I'll tell you the three questions first. First question would be like, wow, this is all really way egalitarian. Why on earth? Where am I coming from? Why am I doing this? Why do I think this is a good idea? It just doesn't seem seems a bit too extreme. Second question is, if everybody's allowed to be equal, why? How will anybody do any work, or why would anybody do anything useful? I mean, you're guaranteed the three quantities really guarantee you an okay life. You get your share of power, your share of status, your share of comfort. Basically, won't people be idle or do useless things? And the last question is, I've been talking about like amounts of power and amounts of comfort, and even transferring these amounts, given amounts from one person to another. I mean, how on earth can these things be measured? I mean, surely these things are just too vague to measure and quantify and move between people. Okay, so first question, where on earth am I coming from? Why do I think this extreme system would be a good idea? Well, basically, I'm a utilitarian. I believe ethically, I think we should try to maximize the pleasantness of conscious life in general. And I believe that ethos leads me to think that the most important issue that we should address now is like human survival. In order to have pleasant lives for conscious beings, we really ought to handle, address the basic thing that we've got to be around. Life on earth has got to carry on in order to be possibly much more comfortable, and also intelligent life, because non-intelligent life doesn't really have that much control over changing its situation and making life more pleasant for itself. So really, it's absolutely vital that intelligent life carries on in the long term, in my view. In order to achieve this sustainability, I think we really got to, in the political area, there may be kind of technical sort of fixes to this. I'm not really able to help much in those areas, but politically, I think can sum up the real big problem is that we're all like competing with one another or fighting one another, and we've really got to change this ethos to a cooperative ethos while maintaining civilization. So at the moment, people are out consuming each other and trying to outwork each other. We've really got to create a big truce in terms of that. And also in terms of power, democracy tends to, I think, produce the most sane decisions for the human race. So when people are competing for power, I think it usually ends up that some people become very powerful, and those people aren't the most sensible people. They're people who have been very good at overpowering other people, and who have concerned themselves with the issue of overpowering others. So if everyone has equal power, that usually seems to result in a kind of bit more sanity. Also, I said in my first video about this utopian, it's a bit utopian, but that seems to be worth a try. We can always go back to other things. It may teach us something anyway. Also, this system I'm suggesting is it's a bold, simple system. I mean, I've summed it up very quickly, and like capitalism is kind of simple to summarize. We need something else that is simple, I think, because then everyone can understand it. It has the potential to be popular, and it'll help it be stable. So that's the answer to the first question. I will deal with the second two questions in the next video. Thank you.